Good morning, everyone. Good to see all of you online today. I'm looking forward again today. Um, maybe you can type on the chat box. How many sessions did you attend this week in terms of educating and learning? How many Zoom sessions did you attend this week? And just put up basically the number of sessions: 1, 2, 3, 4. How many sessions did you attend this week? Because there were a lot of sessions on. Charles ended 3 sessions. I wanted to attend the one that's the last night one, but there was another session on that's worldwide. So there's a lot of Zoom that's overlapping also. Eric, 4 sessions, including this week. Well, thanks this morning for joining us again. And I said this morning one, basically one, you need to prepare your minds because there are a lot of sessions to go through. So you can just go through the motion for the next 1 hour, or you can make a choice today that this morning one, you want to learn something that's new. Something basically can help you because there's no point going through a session and not able to take something back that you can apply. So this today one, the session one is going to be on shift tactic number 7. The topic is sellers window of opportunity in the shift market. So I want you to just prepare your minds right now that today, basically on this session, there's just 1 or 2 things that you can take home and you can apply immediately. Okay, because these are things you've heard before, but it could be repetition. But today there's more time to go deeper because today is just part 1 of a 3-part series on tactic number 7. So next week I'll cover again the art of persuasion, and the following week was another one. So take your time to digest it. The price is important, okay? Because of time wise, let's just get started. Let me just start with my share screen right now. If you have any questions, feel free to write now. Susan, 5 sessions are good for you. Noreen, 4, including 6 if include others. Again, it's let me just say this. I encourage you all today, if you have not signed up, to sign up for the mega camp that's coming up in August. The reason I make this because today is the last day for you to enjoy the discount. I might announce it later today. US $59 for I think a 3 or 4 day session. I've attended 2 of the mega camp already, and let me just say this: it is life changing. To go to the States itself to experience it is better, but the cost is pretty much close to about 10 to 15,000 easily to be in US for 10 days for training. Now this training allows you to go online is US $59. It's about $200, almost close to. Instead of paying that amount of money, you're bringing the whole training back to you. You can watch it over and over again for about 1 to 2 months. So I encourage you that if you are still thinking about signing up for it, don't think, just sign up for it. You won't regret it. You are actually learning from the best. So please, if you have not signed up, talk to your market center, sign up today. And this is open up not just for agents from Refill. It's open to anyone. So if you're not from Refill Properties one, from other agencies, please inquire with the friend that invited you. Please join the session because it will be life changing if you are in the real estate industry. Okay, please do that. Okay, today basically the topic is shift tactic number 7. My name is Josh Time. I'm the team leader for Market Center 2. I'm also the KW Malaysia faculty trainers. I enjoy training because my goal is to impart and change lives and helping your lives to be better. Okay, let's move on to a little bit of today's topic. Let's understand about how the market works. Now, I just want to comment also that William did a session, I think it was last week, on shift tactic 7. He did a fantastic job. I encourage you to go back and watch it because he covers a lot of good content. I'm just taking one area out that's called windows of opportunity. But before I do that one, I want you to understand basically how the market actually works now. If you look at the slide basically that's in front of you, this shows a balance between the number of buyers on one side and the number of sellers on the other side. So do you think basically we are in a buyer's market or in a seller's market right now? You can type on the chat box. Do you think we're in a buyer's market right now or a seller's market? Okay, even if say buyer's market right now. Okay, so now what exactly is a buyer's market and what exactly is a seller's market? Now let's look at the seller's market first on the right side. Now today, basically, do you think there are more buyers in the market or less? Are there more buyers or less buyers in the market? Engage with me a little bit so that we know that basically you're following. Are there more buyers in the market today or less buyers? Okay, the Yen Ling says less buyers, huh? Okay, that means basically if you look at seller's market, it says there are more buyers. So if it's less buyers, so basically then it's actually in the buyer's market. So if it's a seller's market, what it's saying is that there are more buyers in the market, but there are less inventory. So basically there are less, when you say less inventory, it's saying that there are less listings of properties available in the market. So today, basically for your one, are you experiencing that? Are you experiencing today that if you go in and talk to the owners are quite open to give you listings. It's not difficult to get listings. It's actually not difficult to get exclusive listings. In fact, basically the last 2 weeks one, I just sent a touch point to the owners asking them basically whether they have properties that can help. And 20 owners reply and say that basically they need help and their properties are still available in the market. And basically I even asked one of the owners, are you willing to go in and look at the properties again, the pricing after MCO, because the properties, your property has been in the market for a while already. So basically it's not difficult to actually get inventory today in the market. But in the seller's market one, basically there are a lot, there are limited properties in the market and there are more buyers. So in the seller's market, if you look at the chart on the right side one, if there are more buyers and less inventory, the seesaw basically goes this way, which means that basically when there are less inventory, the prices actually goes up. That is a seller's market today. But today, what we're experiencing is that the prices are actually going down. So on the left side, basically it talks about the buyer's market. So you're correct. You're experiencing fewer buyers in the market. Or rather, what I say is that there are still buyers in the market, but fewer motivated buyers in the market, and there are more inventory. And because there are more inventory in the market today, it drives the prices down. And so the sellers must understand if there are more sellers, it drives the price down. If there are more buyers, it drives the price up. Okay, there's a simple way of looking at the market illustration. I like this. So in your mind, you must realize today you're actually in a buyer's market. So the owners don't look at repricing the property. Their properties will stay in the market for a while. Okay? Seller must understand that only properties that appear to be serious bargains get serious attention and get sold, or in that case, get buyers. Let me pause a minute here now. I'm not sure whether you as an agent understand this. The seller must understand that only properties that appear to be serious bargains get serious attention to get sold. So as an agent today, who is responsible to communicate this to the seller? How will the seller understand? So if you yourself basically are not convinced that you need to do that one, that is the first thing that you need to change in your mind, that you must be convinced that if the seller don't understand this, you have a choice to walk away and not take the listing, because that listing will be overpriced and it's going to be difficult to sell. Or you can choose to take the listing and then work with the owners to reprice the property. But if the property basically is not serious bargain, you will not get buyers to come in. So you put the properties in the portal or website, you might not get a lot of views or people coming to you. Let's look at basically the perspective in the shift market first, because today's topic is a window of opportunity in the shift market. So we know basically we have shift from a seller's market to a buyer's market. So in seller market, basically, I've been in the industry for more than 15 years now. I remember when I joined the industry, basically in the beginning, the first year, during the first year combining rental and sales, I closed more than 40 listings within a year. Because if the property is in the market for a week itself, if you don't close it, someone will close it. And agents were going out in the evenings to try to close it. So I was basically thinking, wow, the market is very hot. If I don't learn fast enough, I will not close. So the seniors themselves, they will be in the office in the morning, evening they'll go out and they'll sell. So there's a slightly different experience from now, where we are actually, all of us are actually not in the office. But back then, there's no technology. So you physically have to go into the office. You have to check the systems, look at properties available. You have to talk to your colleagues. You have to network with them. Today, you can go on a Zoom and network with them. But before that, it was not like that. So I've experienced the seller's market. I also experienced today basically a buyer's market, and it changes. So we are going through a shift from a seller's market to a buyer market today. So when you go through a shift towards a buyer's market, one thing that happens is that the listing inventory takes longer to sell. Are you experiencing that? Listings that you have will take longer to sell and it stays in market for a while. Now, if the listing takes longer to sell, what needs to happen? Only properties in good condition and priced right will sell in a buyer's market. Only properties in good condition and priced right will sell in a market. So today you have to look for properties that are in good condition. When I say good condition, I'm not referring to perfect condition. That means the house is presentable, The owners are willing to repaint the house, touch it up. The owners are willing to clean it up. So it creates a good impression. So if owners are not willing to do that one, just chances are basically the property will stay in the market for a while, unless the price is right. Price can correct bad condition, but bad condition won't correct bad pricing. I'm not sure whether you realize that particular point, that today, if a house is in the market one, and the house basically one is half completed because the owners basically ran short of money, wanted to renovate the house. Again, his budget very high, business did not do very well. So the house was stuck. So the house was half completed. So the house was torn down, no walls, no doors, foundations are done. Imagine bringing your buyers to look at the house. Do you think the buyer will be willing to actually go in and buy the house? A house that's no doors, half completed one. Again, it has been left vacant for pretty much the last couple of years. That is a bad condition house. That house basically one is a USJ 3 corner unit, 20 by 60. At that point in time, the market rate is maybe close to about, easily close to about 900,000 to 1 million. And the owner at that point in time was pricing it about 800 range. Eventually, that house was sold for 680 by a contractor. And the contractor says basically the more rundown the house is, the judge is better. And today, the house is very nice. I think the house today one, if it's put in the market, easily be sold for 1 million, no problems. So price can correct bad condition, but condition basically cannot correct bad pricing. So pricing is very important in terms of the market in right now. The other one is that if your properties are correctly priced, it represents 80% of our marketing efforts. If you manage to get the owner the price of a property today correctly, it can be sold faster. And later today, one I'll bring in basically two guest speakers. One is Josh Lim, the other one is Syed Shah, to just give the experiences from the buyer's perspective and the seller's perspective. What exactly is it that the buyers are looking for when they go in and look for properties, and what is it that the sellers have to go through the process in their mind, to actually get a properly sold very fast. Okay. Let's look at another one. Now, today, we know that the market has shifted. What you need to do today is to become a consultant to sellers. You need to become a consultant to a sellers, not just a normal salesperson. When house sold in a matter of days, agents are undervalued. That means your value is not there if the house can be sold by the owner themselves. Have you experienced the owner saying this? Basically, I don't need agent to sell. I put signboard outside my house. A lot of people come in and buy already. Now, some of you in this call would have experienced that, because I'm not talking to just new agents. I'm talking to agents that have quite a lot of experience. So you've experienced that time where basically the owner says, no problems, I can sell myself. I have experienced that. But today, houses are not sold in a matter of days. It takes a longer time to sell. So what the seller needs you to help him in pricing strategies. How can I price, and what strategies can I do to market my property so that it can draw buyers to come in? The owners or the sellers, they are interested in the potential buyers. Because they put a signboard there, the buyers are not going around to take a look. Because there are a lot of agents that will actually go in and help them. And again, it's, the agents help buyers. The buyers don't have to pay any commission or any fees. The owners also need you for your market knowledge. They don't know what is happening. They might be talking to a few buyers, but you talk to a lot more. You talk to buyers every day. They also need a knowledge of financing options. It is more challenging today to get bank loans. It's more challenging to go in and understand the process. Buyers are concerned. Basically, today you go in and put an earnest deposit. What will happen in the process? Okay. And then they also need our negotiation skills, because if it's so easy to sell, that anybody can sell. But it's not the case today. So realize that you need to be a training consultant. You must come in with the seller to add value, and know that without your help, the owner's properties will be in the market for a while. Shifted markets, and then basically the owners need you more than ever today. The truth is that the market remains full of people who genuinely want to buy and sell. I hope you agree with this one. The truth is that the market remains full of people who genuinely wants to buy or sell. There are still buyers and sellers in the market today. And the difference is that basically is at what price the house is being sold for. Because you saw the shift, in the shift one, the pendulum, the buy is there, just basically left or right side. One goes up, one goes down. So the only difference is really the pricing. If the price is right, then any house can actually be sold. Now, the windows of opportunity, this is the concept I want to just bring across to you all today, and use this as a discussion before I go into the panelists to help them understand and dialogue on this one here. So what exactly is the window of opportunity? It is the first time someone sees a property. That means you bring someone to look at a house. The first time that someone look at a house, there's an impression that's created. If the person likes the house and the impression is good, the person will make an offer. If the house basically is not good, or if the buyer thinks the price is too high, they might not even want to view the house. So the best chance to sell a home is when it first comes into the market. After that, it declines over time. Now, if you look at this chart one, they're basically the first portion on the left side, that's the activity level. A lot of things that go in to prepare the house, to promote the house, to make sure that things are okay. Once the house is ready and you start marketing it, the 1 to 13, there are 13 weeks here. Week 1, 2, and 3. The first 30 days is when basically the demand is highest. That is the best time for the buyers to come in and look at the house. And notice that it goes up. After the first 30 days, basically the activity levels begins to drop down, and then less and less people will be interested. So in order for the owner to sell a house, the owner, if he needs to sell a house within the first 30 days. If it goes past 6 weeks, you notice basically the price keeps dropping. And the next week we'll talk about basically the art of persuading and how to go through the process to work with the owner. But today we're not talking about that. We're just trying to understand that there is a window of opportunity for the owner to sell the house. There's also a window of opportunity for you as an agent to actually sell the house. Opportunity for the owner to sell fast, opportunity for you as an agent to close fast also. So in order to close fast, what is the difference? Condition and pricing, okay? You can do a lot of activities, but if you don't price correctly and the property is not within this window of opportunity, it will take a longer time to sell, okay? Let's look at this a little bit deeper. Window of opportunity. Now, this window of opportunity is a single best chance to create an impression to get a house sold, the first 30 days. Okay. So today, if you're having struggle to close transactions today, maybe you need to go back and work with the owners to review the pricing. Because if the price basically is too high, that could be the reason why the buyers are not coming in. Now, the reason that the house cannot be closed is not because of COVID. It's not because of the pandemic. The one just slows down the process to close, because most of the people that buy today I know they need to see the house. Unless you realize that the buyers are very motivated and there's a way for them to go in and close a transaction, the process can actually close. So people that today they're selling projects they are saying that they're actually closing without actually the buyers viewing the properties, without even going to the show gallery, because you can bring the show gallery over to the owner. So today the same thing. If the buyer is very serious, even for sub-sale, you can go in and go into the house, because you can actually do that one if you want to. You just cannot bring buyers. You can do a video shoot and do a online live and walk through the owners in the house, so the owners can see exactly what house is like, so that he can make the decision. Because even if it is there to see, it's getting the feel only. So the window opportunity is important to create the impression that the house, if it needs to be sold, is the first 30 days. Second one is that if the agent or buyer believes that the house is poorly priced, they will not be interested to consider viewing. So today, if you're networking with agents, if myself an agent, if I go in and I don't think your property is worth bringing my buyers, I won't bring. So it's also a window opportunity for me to go in and work with agents and bring them in so if the price is not right, they will not come in. They will not come in and bring the buyers, neither will my buyers go in. Prices above the market does not get any showings. Prices at or below the market does. Prices above the market does not get any showings. Even if get a showing, you will not get any offers, because the buyer realized that their house is way above what is a fair market value. Sellers with price reduction takes 2 or 3 times longer to sell. That means the property stays in the market longer, potentially delaying the move for the seller, and also increasing the cost for the seller or the owners. Takes longer time to sell, opportunity cost is being lost, and the owner will change their plans because they cannot move on. Move on basically because they have to move on after they actually sell the house. So realizing these are the advantage to understand the window of opportunity. So in this window of opportunity, you must learn to price the property right. And what does that mean? That means when I say price the property right, that means you must price the property in a way that is more attractive compared to other properties in the market. So imagine today there are 5 properties, property 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first one basically number one is priced basically very low, below the market. The one basically on the far right one, basically the 5th house is priced above the market. So if if one is $1 million, one is 800,000, and the fair price is 900,000. Which of those properties will draw buyers to come in? Most of the time, it's the one in the middle, the one that's basically fair market value, right pricing, or below the market value. So when the price is a fair price and below the market, we call it in the market. That means the price is low, not above, and the condition is great. So good condition house and correlative price will be in the market. Those houses that basically are poor condition and very high price one will be out of the market. So today, because you're in the buyer's market one, you notice the circle basically in the market is smaller, out of the market is bigger. So there are a lot of properties that are priced outside the market because the seller still believes that their house can be sold at a higher price. That's a buyer's mindset, and that's a seller's mindset. On the buyer's mindset one, the buyer thinks today one, the house price can go a lot lower than it is today. So owners always want to sell high, buyers always wanted to buy low. So the agent basically job is to make sure that you educate both parties and bring them closer. I'm talking to buyers today one and tell them this particular property one is a fair market value because you're buying it at a price that's 10 years ago. The buyer still think, I believe, Josh, that the price can go further. So there's a lot of education today that we need to do with both owners and seller in order to go in and close. So my encouragement for you all is don't try to close the deal too quickly. Make sure that the seller is ready and the buyer is ready, and both understand basically this is a good deal for both parties. So both sides will actually win. It's a win-win deal, buyer and seller, and also as an agent, you will actually win also. So we just covered a few concepts today. The importance of basically pricing your properties correctly, and also important to understand the window of opportunity, and that within this window, the first 30 days, that's when you can go in and capture a lot of the buyers here. Now, there are 2 persons today. One is Syed Shah and the other is George Lim. Now, Syed Shah basically one has been promoted to say that he just increased his listings with buyers, 41 listings added to his age prop. And for George Lim, he's been in the market for a while. I completed a real estate transaction in just 4 days during NCO. Now, for someone to sell it that fast, something must happen in that area. So I will start basically with Syed first to go through and help us understand the buyer's mindset. And then I'll go to Josh a bit later to look at basically on the seller mindset. So we just have seen the windows of opportunity. And that one now, Syed, are you there? Maybe you can just spotlight Shah can.
Hello.
Okay, Shah can. Hey, thanks for joining us today. I appreciate it, Shah. Again, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself before I go in and help you understand the buyer side. Tell us how long you've been in the industry and what area are you focusing in?
I've been in industry about 3 years, and I'm focusing in Bangi, Kajang, and Ceras area.
Okay, Bangi. Now you're focusing in Bangi, Kajang, and Ceras area. Is it because you are staying around the area?
Yes, correct. During this MCO.
During MCO, now I know this MCO has been challenging also. Now, what has been the biggest challenge for you so far?
To get viewing appointment lah. Sebab the owner sometimes risau dengan dia punya kesihatan kan. So bila buyer tak kisah nak view, and then the owner risau dia punya kesihatan, so dia tak allow for viewings lah. So that's a problem yang happening right now lah.
Correct. So again, is that the owners and the buyers both are concerned of their health wise to go through that one. And also realize basically, I talked to you about a year, I think close about a year back, and that was in the first one. At that point in time, you wanted to move over to Puchong side, and there's a change of plans today. During the time when you also got married, so in some ways, you got married one, the pandemic came. Again, there's a change of plans. But today, basically, I think basically you are looking at what to do in the meantime over the next 30, 60, 90 days to close as many transactions as possible. No point waiting for things to change. Now, so based on that mindset is that you're focusing on Bangi, Kajang, and area. Now, let's look at the activities level right now. Now, at this point in time, because you know that times are challenging, buyers viewing is more difficult. How do you actually go in and still manage to find buyers? I know you found listings both, but how do you actually find the buyers today? Whether it's buyers. How do you find your buyers?
Okay, as we know right now kita ada problem with sometimes of viewing and inspections lah. So even though I get owner punya contact number to go to have to get the listings pun kita susah nak buat inspection. So kalau susah nak buat inspection, I memang tak nak post dalam social website lah kan. Macam nanti kalau ada buyer tanya, kita pun tak tahu macam mana keadaan property tu. We just receive pictures from owners macam tu je kan. So kita tak buat kita punya agent punya diligence studies lah. So sebab ada problem with that one, I go another alternative lah during this MCO, which is cooperate dengan my colleagues, agents from all sorts of companies lah. Ada from Redfield, ada from other agents punya agency juga. So sebab I susah nak buat inspection, so I bekerjasama dengan ada agents yang dah ada listing sendiri. So I know agents tu dia dah buat inspections lah. So what we call this is a shared listings punya alternative lah.
Okay, that means
So sorry?
No, that means basically what you're saying, sir, is basically you know that it's difficult to go in and view the properties. So you work with agents that have properties that are good properties and they are willing to share with you so you can promote to your buyers.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so which is very good because it's very creative to look at it because today if you're working in a team or you know of people with listings let the owner know that you're working in the team with other people and whether they are able to go in allows you to market the properties. This is very important because you're asking the owners for permission. If you have listings to share, ask the owner's permission, say that you're actually having agents. Is it okay if you allow agents to promote your properties today? Because the more people that's able to promote your properties, the more opportunities for the owners to get buyers to come. And that's what the site is doing here. He's going in network with other agents from within the company and also outside, those that he knows to get more listings so they can put into your portal and get buyers in. So right now, basically, do you have more buyers willing to looking at viewing the properties once you're able to view?
Yes.
Okay. Now how when you go in and you identify those buyers, how do you match the buyers with the listings? What do you do?
Of course kita tapis dia kan, tanya dia dia punya preference. Usually bila ada buyers yang approach lepas tu macam do you have any other listings? So I akan filter dia dulu lah kan before propose any types of listings yang in that area. Macam contoh dia tanya dia inquiry my listing at USJ 3. Lepas tu dia nampak, lepas tu dia tanya ada lagi listings lain tak? So before I propose all other listings in USJ, I tanya dulu lah kan. I filter dia punya what is your actual price range that you are looking for, and apa you punya background, apa yang you nak actually lah kan, so that I boleh propose according to your needs, so that I tak spam je lah kan. Whatever I propose to you is actually matching your preference.
Okay, that means what you're saying, sir, is that you understand the buyer's mindset, that the buyers are looking for property in certain areas. So you take some time to qualify the buyers, know what they want, what their needs in, and then you network with agents in those areas. That means you look at the properties carefully. Now, those properties that you select, do you propose all the properties or only the ones that you feel basically priced correctly?
Yes, priced correctly because kita nak maintain relationship juga kan. Right now internet ni kan orang kata semua di hujung jari, everything can be searched. So I don't want to propose and then bila dia check sendiri dekat website, this is orang kata above market value. So automatically lah dia akan anggap macam main propose macam tu je. So I don't want to be like that. I want to be agents that they can trust lah. So whatever I propose tu macam memang this is the best value in the market right now. Yeah, this is the best deal lah, basically.
Okay, that means it seems like you're very intentional side to look at your buyers, not like just any buyers. You qualify your buyers, you take them seriously, you narrow down them. You don't work with all buyers now. The buyers today you're working with, probably the buyers that are ready to buy over the next maybe 3 months, right? The ones that are more interested ones. So those that say that I'm CC, look, or not very sure one, those are the one maybe you put it aside. Okay.
Betul.
Now, let me just focus on the closing that you have done maybe over the last few months one, when there are a lot of viewing one. Maybe you can explain some of the closing that you have in your area one. Uh, what are some of the closings that you've done? That means the pricing itself, pricing range. Did it take long for the buyer to go in and close? You know, when you match the price correctly, was it a fast process? Give us one
Oh,
case scenario.
actually, memang fast process. That one is Bangi. Before MCO lah. Because sebelum MCO tu, I memang tengah, I ada masuk that one class ni memang dia I forgot siapa yang share. Maybe you atau someone else. One of dia punya CGI tu dia punya target goal so in that year is to have expand networking. So I take that lah. Sebelum situ tu I memang I engage semua agent kat Facebook. Bila kat Facebook tu siapa agent yang keluar je I add friend, lepas tu I engage with them untuk dia kongsi punya listings. And then when I get the listings, I tapis the listings of which one is the best deal, the correct market price, condition pun okay. So I found this listings tu memang cantik lah. Actually below market price. So when I propose to the social website tu, immediately and the next day I dapat inquiry. So esok tu kita arrange viewing. After viewing tu on the spot dia terus start booking.
Okay, interesting. Now I hope you hear what Shad just shared. He took the listings, not his own listings, the co-agency listings, to work through that. But he knows that that property is correctly priced. He promote to his buyers. The buyers saw the property, make a booking, and then close. It goes back to day one. If properties are bargain deals and they are good deals, when the buyer sees it, they will know. And then they are able to make an offer. You know, so again, I think it's a smart move that we need to think through. Don't take time just to bring all buyers. Take some time to qualify your buyers, rate your buyers, and look at the properties correctly so you can match to do that. Now, there's just one question right now. One more question side now. You have more listings today because in your each portal right now you have I think more than 200, 300 listings, right?
Yeah.
So some of those listings there allows you to have buyers. What is your long-term goal at this point? It means what's your strategy over the next 1 or 2 years? Is it to just work with co-agent listings or to build your own listings?
No, of course tak of course to build my own listings lah. Right now this is just a plan during MCO sebab kita memang tak boleh buat inspection and viewing. So kalau I dapatkan contact number owners apa semua tu I cannot do inspection. So dia macam dapat pun tak boleh gerak apa-apa. So that's why in the meantime ni I use this alternative untuk move forward, which is share bekerjasama dengan other agents and post their listings lah, their workable listings, because when I post their workable listings I get buyer. Still I still boleh buat viewing sebab the agent is still dia duduk dekat dengan listings dia. So if I ada buyer I minta dia tolong buatkan viewing tu. Sebab kita tak boleh nak rentas daerah kan. So I just can you help me entertain this buyer? Diorang pun okay. So macam walaupun kita still tak boleh gerak mana-mana, at least they are progress lah, just still ongoing. My agents tu boleh tolong leverage. Yes, betul.
Ken, hey, thanks for sharing that now, because if you go back to the chart that basically we have just now on the on the screen right now, the activity level, if you notice, basically what I've been talking with Sai is basically the activity levels that's going on, how he works with the buyers, how he go and engage with the buyers, how he promote properties and match the right properties to the buyers. So the buyers are interested and bring in to view the properties. Once you view the properties when it's the right matching, then it close very fast. So again, it's on his side, the buyers could have been looking for months, or some could be years. But when you find the motivated buyers and the ones that are actually able, ready, and willing to make a decision, that's where close comes in. So keep in mind, the market is still full of people that want to buy and sell, but it takes a longer time and more skill to go in and find the right buyer. So Sai, thanks for sharing that now. So I'm going to move on to Josh right now. So we spotlight Josh, because Josh will go in and help us understand on the second part of the cycle here, that you're looking basically now at the fact that the buyers are there already. And now, Josh, basically you're able to go in and work with the owners in the process. So the window of opportunity is the first 30 days to maybe the first 4 to 6 weeks period. Can you share with us before I go into the factors, and what are the process that goes through when you actually meet with the seller? Because you got the listings and then close it. What actually happens from a point that when you meet the owners, what actually goes through the process?
Hi everyone, George here. George Lim, not George Tan. Okay. All right. When I meet with the seller, I think the process is pretty standard with the rest of us. Okay. First, we need to inspect the property. Okay. To see whether the condition is.
Hey, by the way, George, maybe you can introduce yourself a little bit. Forgot to just introduce yourself, where you're farming, which area, before I go into that one. Tell us a little bit more.
All right. I'm George Lim from MC2. Okay, currently I am doing farming in Bandar Kinara, Puchong. This is my, I'm already 8 years old in real estate industry. Okay, all right. So back to the question just now. What I will do is first I will need to inspect the condition of the property. Okay, so that I know whether the seller is what price I should advise the seller to put for the property for sale. All right. Okay. So again, pricing is very important in this case, because normally when buyer do inquiries, right, when they go to iProperty, the first thing they're going to look at is the price of the property. Okay, of course, nowadays buyers are very much smarter than before because of all the information available online. We will refer to bricks to check on the market price. Same goes to the buyer. They'll go to bricks also, because bricks is open for everyone to subscribe. Okay.
Okay, that means you understand basically what the buyers go through. That the buyers today, they are smarter, they're not more knowledgeable. They do their homework also. So
Yes.
so when you go to the owner and you go through a process where the phone call is there, you inspect the properties, and then you see in front of owner, you understand that the buyers are do you go through a process to explain with the owner? Do you have a listing consultation process you go through, a 3-step formula? How do you go in to help the owner understand the market condition and the pricing?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Of course. I will need to explain to the owner that buyer can see all the information that we can see. All right. They will know what is happening in the market. They will know what is the market price, to educate the owner. Okay. I need to let them know there is no more 随遇 in the market. 随遇 in English is called naive buyer. Okay. They don't know what is happening in the market. They like the price. They like the house. They'll buy with whatever price by the seller. No. This will no longer happen. Okay. What the
okay, so basically it's like the not naive or buyers that are the ignorant or the not taking time to study. So the buyers are there. So you let the owner know that one now. Normally when you tell the owner that one, will the owner agree on the pricing immediately? Or the owner normally wants to sell at a higher price?
Some yes. Those very, not to say, those very motivated ones that will listen to me. Of course, whatever I explain to them needs to be very make sense. Okay. It cannot be like market price at 800,000. I get them to price at 600,000. That one anyone can sell. Literally anyone can sell already. Because it needs to be make sense to the market situation as well.
Okay, that means maybe you can even go a little bit more and elaborate for us on that particular deal that you closed, for example, that you handled, that you closed in 4 days. What happened in that conversation? Did the owner just agree on the pricing, or you actually say you went to the bricks, you showed the pricing to the owner, you walked through the owner on the pricing one, and you explained to the owner this is the area, these are the prices in that area, and then owner came to the point of appointing you? Was it a process that's very fast, or took some time before even putting it in the market?
Not to say very long time. I think a few hours for them to consider to finalize the selling price. Okay. So when I meet with them, I will prepare a simple comparative market analysis lah. Okay, the simplest one is you just bring the bricks report. Okay, download it and print it out, and highlight the street that very near to that house, and show to the owner. So this was the transacted price in the market. Okay, of course, some of them they will say, oh, but then the bank has given a higher value to my house. But then we need to explain bank value is what the bank willing to borrow, willing to lend to the purchaser, not what the market is willing to accept. Market value, yes, is what the market is accepting. All right, then I'll show the bricks report, show them what are the prices, the transacted price. Okay, those who are willing to listen to me, slowly they will accept my advice lah.
Okay, and how do you convince owner that you are the local expert in the area?
Of course,
yeah, because the owner must trust you, ma. Just because you say that it's the right price, how will owner trust your judgment?
Of course, you need to be very familiar with the area first thing. Okay, then of course the most simple one will be how many types of property in the market in that area, how many types, like 2070, 2275. Then last year, how many units were transacted in that area? All these market information we need to be very well aware of.
Correct, and this information one, basically, how do you highlight to the owners? Because I know that you have a social media, and recently, basically, you post some of the, the social posts. Basically, if the owners or whoever wants to get the pricing of property correctly, they can contact you. So you're actually positioning yourself basically as a local expert in Kinrara area, because you're willing to help the owners go in and look at the properties market if you can. You also highlight properties that you have gone in and closed. You also gone in and you do videos also. The shoot. In some ways, your presence in that area is there to be able to let the owner know that you are actually current. And so I assume that when you go in and meet the owner, some of those basically tools or things you will also be able to highlight to the owners, correct? Huh? Yeah, correct. Because the not all owners will agree on the pricing there, because I think there was the question from Jean, basically, how do you convert a non-motivated to a motivated owner? Is it possible for us to convince the owner if the owner is not motivated and price the property very high?
Not to say they are not motivated. They are not motivated yet. Okay, the urgency is not there yet. Of course, what we need to do is to update them regularly on the market feedback. Of course, those overpriced one, I will still put it on the market. I will still advertise. Then I will update them at least twice a month on the market response. Anyone has contacted me? Have I received any inquiries? What did the prospect? What's the feedback regarding that house? The price, the condition, all this we need to update them. Sooner or later, eventually they will lower down the price. Eventually, just take some time.
Correct. So I think the Josh, you mentioned a key point, that the key is eventually the owner will reduce the price. That owner will go through basically what we call a 5-stage of grief. That from that point on they realize it. At the same time, what you've done is the basic one is don't go to the owner empty-handed. Have some preparation. For him is that if you don't have anything prepared, please print out the bricks report, get the highlighter, highlight the property close to the areas, and then let the owner know these are the transactions that are in that area. So I call it at least have five active, 5 pendings, and 5. So in some ways, let the owner know what is happening in that area, what has closed before, or what has not closed, what is still available, so that the owner understands that his property itself is not the only property in the area, and his property is either priced high or low. Now, if the key is that we can, if you look at basically one of the shift tactics, I say that we cannot really motivate the owners. We can only motivate the owners. That means we can help the owner to be able to make the best decision. But you cannot force the owner with a gun and says you must buy or you must sell. So the motivation must come internal. So if the owner is not motivated, our job is to educate the owner and help the owner to come up with to make the best decision for him. So if the owner is not able to make the decision immediately, over time the owner will. So at that point in time, that's why you need to be a consultant. You're coming to advise the owner so that they make the best decision for themselves over time. Just because the owner, says that this is the price that I want to sell, it doesn't mean the price can sell. And what Josh said just now is the fact that the market determines the pricing. It's not a matter of what the agents say or what the owners say. Again, is that there's a price that the buyers are willing to, transact. So today, for example, if you go in, if you go in and buy a plate of char kway teow and the plate of char kway teow costs $30, would you pay for the plate of char kway teow or not? Now, when I've been paying $7 for that plate of char kway teow, now I might be willing to pay up to $10. Now, if you go to another place like Menam Kwan, the price could be $16, but they add a bit more things inside. So price and value can be put in to make it a bit higher. But if it's 3 or 4 times above the market value, the no buyers do that now. But Josh,
Exactly.
thanks for sharing with us in the process. What Josh is sharing with us basically is that in that window of opportunity, he is there for the owners to guide the owners through that, to walk through that. Now, just now Noreen also says, do you prepare anything for them to see when you are explaining to them, Josh? Josh, I think you want to answer that one. Do you prepare anything to show the owners besides the bricks and you mentioned basically just what is happening in the market? Do you have a presentation folder or things you're doing, or generally you're so experienced that basically you can go in and there's 5 points that you will share?
No. Of course, I need to refer to something. Okay, of course, I need to bring a what do you call that? That exclusive presentation folder.
Yeah.
In case the price is right, the condition is good, everything is nice. Of course, I'll do my best to take exclusive for the house. Okay. Bricks. I think bricks report is the most important one to
correct
educate the seller.
Okay, that's good. Again, just maybe another question. What are some of the factors that you think will help the seller sell a property fast? Besides pricing, are there other things that will help the owner sell a property fast?
Yes. Of course, the condition of the house is also very important.
Yeah. So the condition.
Sorry.
Go ahead. You're saying condition?
The condition of the house. Of course, we need to advise them to do some touch up to the house. At least the most minimal one, like if the wall is too dirty, get them to get a worker to repaint the house. If there is any leaking issue, get someone to fix it. The very simple one, to make the house presentable. The house do not need to be very, very beautiful, nicely renovated. No, at least just to be presentable will do.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so just to realize that today we don't have time to go in depth today, but the next session for next one we'll go a lot into this discussion where we talk about the art of pricing. There's a process that you must go through from the point of inspecting it to the point that basically you talk to the owner, you build rapport with the owner, and then to the point that basically it can be transacted. Because we are talking about the window of opportunity. If it passes the window opportunity, it takes longer. Just maybe one last question here, Josh. Are there properties that you have today that is priced out of the market that you still have that is not sold after maybe a couple of years? Are you still holding any of those properties?
Yes, of course.
You still have now. So again, those are properties you need to go back to owners and look at repricing those properties again. So let me just thanks for sharing, Josh. Let me go on to just 1 or 2 more slides to go through. But today, because you all know Josh and the site already, you all can feel free to contact them. One is specializing basically in Kinrara area. The other is specializing over in Bangi, the Bangi, Kajang, and the Cheras area. Eventually, basically, I say they are quite knowledgeable to deal with buyers. They are also knowledgeable to deal with sellers, but it's a process that they have to actually work through. Let me just go in and just share 2 more slides with you because time-wise, we want to leave some time for Q&A that they will come in and share. Now, on this slide here, one that we just finished, we realized basically just to recap one, there are some things that happens on the buyer side and then some things happens to the owner side. We'll go more in depth into the owner side, basically in talking about basically how to price it correctly. And then eventually we can we'll go in and look at maybe a way for you to go in, have a presentation listings they can do online or a couple of steps they can go through and present in a way that's more convincing to the owners. Now, this particular one, when you work with the owners, these 3 questions are important for you to ask the owners because when you go in and start the presenting, I assume basically George just now would have gone in and find the motivation for the owners. If you go back to our past videos, we have done quite a few sessions on pricing and helping you understand how to do a need analysis. These three questions are not my questions. These three questions comes from Mr. John Lee. He says basically today one, if you go in and you want to find out basically this owner, these are three questions that you need to ask. The first question basically is, why do you need to sell? Why do you need to sell? And this particular question is important because you are finding out the motivation for the owner, the purpose for the owner, so that you know exactly basically how to help the owner. Why do you need to sell? Because if the owner says, well, I don't need to sell one, I don't need money one, I'm okay, I think I can wait for the next 2 years one, I think my house is worth basically this much. If the owner basically don't need to sell and not motivated to sell, then the properties be more challenging. So you need to learn to grade those properties even when you're talking to owners, whether those properties are properties they can sell within the next 30 days or not. Because if it cannot be sold in the next 30 days, that is the window of opportunity. You must convince the owner that that is the time they must price correctly. Second question is, how soon do you need to sell? So now you know the motivation owner, and the owner really want to sell, and the urgency is there one, and the owner needs the, like today, for example, if you go in and there are many crises, that means, for example, owners have been going to financial crisis, business expansion, education one. For me, I realized basically one, I need to go in and maybe look at selling my properties because I need to go in and finance for my kids' education. There could be a lot of motivation. It has to be a real motivation from the owner. Second is, how soon do you need to sell? Because there one is the urgency or timing. If there's no urgency from the owner, then again, is this owner is not motivated. From a scale of 1 to 10, Mr. Owner, basically, the house, how soon what scale are you at basically to sell the house? Today we sell a house one, basically one. Do you need to sell a house within 3 months or 6 months? Owner say no lah, I'm okay on 1 year or so, all right. So how soon do you need to sell? Talks about the urgency, the timing. You know the timing, you know the motivation. And the third question is basically, what's stopping you from selling? What's stopping you from selling? Basically, these are the challenges, and then you're dipping deeper to find out the real need. Because if the owner basically have no real reason that they want to sell, then you must probe further. We call it basically finding the gap or the pain points. That where is it that the owner is hurting? That owner is saying that I need to. Well, if I have to reduce the price to sell a house, I will do that. So keep that in mind. The need analysis. Why do you need to sell? How soon do you need to sell? And what's stopping you from selling? So to go that further, please go back to some of the videos where there's a session that basically John did together with me by just asking me these three questions and how I go in and play the role of the seller and dialogue with them. So use these three questions when you talk with the owner. The other one, basically, when you go through and look at the process of price reduction, realize that in a buyer's market, the seller often go through 5 stages of grief. 5 stages of grief, and this one basically is the shift book. You can look at that one. It talks about this particular 5 stages. The first stage is that the owner go through a denial because they wanted to sell very high, and the price that you're recommending for them to sell is way below what they expected. They go through a denial. And the second one, basically, some owners can get upset. I've got one owner basically that I went through. This is a particular house in the Subang Jaya one. It's a corner unit. The owner wanted to sell it at about 1.4 million, but the fair market value from the bank valuation is about 1.2 million. So, and the house basically have lots of signboards. The owner been trying to sell it for a year and a half, or maybe even more than that, because at that point in time, earlier, maybe no urgency. After a period of time, I managed to bring a buyer to take a look at it, but the buyer offered $900. The 900,000 for the house. A house that basically they're selling for about 1.4 million. The buyer offered 900,000. So the owner basically was angry. For 15 minutes, basically I have to, it was on the phone. Means you realize the owner was just saying, George, what kind of buyers did you bring? How can a buyer go in and price the property when the bank valuation is 1.2? How can a buyer even offer that kind of pricing? So like all good agents, you listen, you don't say anything, you just agree because the pricing was ridiculously low. After that, go back to the buyer and tell the buyer the owner decided not to sell at that price because his price is low now. Moving forward itself, basically the 3 months later, the owner called me back, and of course I followed through and then show a few more, but not that many. And the owner asked, basically, is the buyer still interested? I'm willing to go in and look at the reducing. So the owner was willing to go down to about 1.1 mil. So we go back to the buyer was still interested. At that point in time, the buyer's financial system, financial exchange, the buyer basically just managed to sell his bungalow in PJ. He has more cash. He's able to put down the deposit, and he was willing to offer higher. So the buyer offer basically 1 million, went back to the owner. And I at that point in time, I was going back to the owner, understanding the motivation for the owner. The owner willing to sell because the owner want to expand his business. So the owner went through a stage of denial, angry, and then we go into the bargaining stage. And the owner was willing to go down to go through the process, but it took let's say within 3 to 6 months one is where the owner went through and realized that, can I get a better offer? I'm sure he went back to other agents. He worked through a process. He tried to find out other means to solve his problem. After I've gone through the depression, then he came in and said, George, I will take $1 million if the buyer is willing to do that. So the buyer was willing to go up to $1 million. We work out some of the terms. Eventually, the property was closed at $1 million. Today, basically, the owner and myself, we are still very good friends because I helped the owner solve one of his problems. When the fund is cleared, he can expand his business and can grow. And he realized that even at $1 million, he still make a profit. It's not what he want, but there was a price that he has to accept, because if you don't accept that one, the property cannot actually be closed. So realize that basically my job was to counsel them through the process: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and eventually accepting it. So today, if you want to go price reduction, don't just go in and tell the owner you must reduce the price. You must allow the owner to go through this process where you counsel them. So our job is very simple. We're consulting the owner to make the best decision for themselves. We are not forcing them. We are encouraging to go through this process. You will have to go through the same process to actually help the owners walk through that. Now I've gone through just the talking about tactic number 7, just talking about the window of opportunity. That each of you must understand there is a window of opportunity to go in, and for the owner to actually sell the house. Once you pass the window of opportunity, it will take a longer time. We have also heard from basically the buyers on the panelists today just important of understanding on the buyer side. Buyer is also concerned about pricing, so you must go in and highlight the properties that basically the buyers are interested. So today, if you're not getting response from from your age prop or anything else, please go back and relook at the pricing and see whether those pricing can attract the right buyers. I do the same thing because I'm still basically active in the sales side, maybe not as often, not as strong as before, but I actually enjoy the process of helping owners. And today I'm just changing my focus to look at instead of owners learning to help agents like yourself be more successful in your business. Okay. Now we have gone in for 1 hour to work through that one. Next week we'll spend another hour to go into the pricing side. So this whole week go through and put yourself basically in your seller's shoes and see what is it that your sellers is going through. How can you help them? Are there ways that you can go in and look at some of your properties that you're working on and go back and look at the pricing? Advise the owner what to do. Work with the owners. Listen to the owner. Engage with the owner. Ask more questions to find out basically whether the owner wants, and then go through and decide basically in this point what is the best strategy. Have a way to work with the buyers, because if there are no buyers, then again you cannot help the owners. So you need buyers. You need the owners to price correctly so that you can actually sell. And again, I'm hoping that this session has helped you to work through them. Now, before I actually go in and end the session one, I'm going to pass it over to actually, before I do that, we still have some time. Any questions before we do that? For myself or Syed or George? Virtual assistant, if there are any questions that we have missed out, please feel free to highlight them. Marcus, Noreen. I don't see any. Josh, would you advise us to approach again all the sellers that has holding on to their pricing for months? So from what you heard is basically my encouragement is yes. Go in, advise the owners and review the pricing is very important. How low was low today? Because we're in a buyer's market. The buyers will always say the price is not low enough. There's always going to be lower. So help the buyers understand basically there's a fair market value, and you might need to go in and show the bricks report not only to the seller but also to the buyer, so that they understand that basically over the last 10 years when this has happened. Now, if they don't go in and make the decision today tell them the opportunities that some of your past clients have done. Today, for example, because I focus on USJ3, I go back to tell my buyers that are interested they just lost the opportunity to actually go in and buy the house at the price that they wanted, because at that point in time, they were not willing to offer but it actually closed at the price that they wanted. So 1 UHA 3 house was closed at 600,000. At that point in time, when I was working with the buyers, all the buyers said it can go further. They were offering 500,000, 550,000, but the house was closed eventually at 600. So educate both the buyer and the seller.
Josh.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm Charles here.
Yeah.
So many of them asking, what's the exclusive presentation folder that another medium Josh mentioned about.
Okay, now you want Leanne. So Josh, you want to answer that? Josh Lim, you want to answer that? What is inside the exclusive presentation folder? That one you have to have
folder.
You need to have a separate discussion with him.
Secret folder. Actually, nothing special. Whatever we need to, of course, okay, exclusive presentation folder is something I use to get the owner to what you call that? I do the presentation first, then I'll request the owner to appoint me as their exclusive agent. Okay. If you need them to commit to you, they need to see your commitment as well. So inside the exclusive presentation folder, mostly are what I'm going to do to help the seller to sell the property. Yeah, correct. It's included in the training we attended and review. Correct. Because you need to you can add in some other things lah. All right.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that, John. Again, it's the fact that today in the different market, the shifting market one, you all might need to go in and re-look at some of the presentation, and so that you can address the owners. I believe that we all need to have a presentation online, a simplified one to go through, to talk about pricing, to talk about the transactions, so that you can go in and help the owner understand. So words itself is not enough. You need to show facts and data, so the owners understand that this is what is happening. Show some properties or pictures of properties that the owner can see. If they go in and price the property at this price one, actually what is the buyer expecting? Yeah, the buyer expecting the house to be pretty much a perfect condition house, but the owner's house is not in that particular state. Again, we are showing data or facts for the owner to see. We're not, because you just tell owner that the condition is poor, the owner might not accept that. Present that so that owner can go in and look for himself. But over the next a few weeks, we will go deeper into some of this, and hopefully some of you will benefit. Now, maybe basically some of you can write down some of the things that you have learned today for the benefit of all those things. We call it ahas. Share what you learned that is beneficial for you, that you can take action immediately. It means after today's session, you go back on, like for example, some say that when you go back, you go in and review your listings, and then you'll go in and talk to the owners. What did you learn today that is helpful for you in terms of doing your business? Write down on the chat box so that it can benefit everyone. When you write down things, basically that's where you also go in and help other people begin to learn. So I'm going to pass it over to make the announcements, and then Josh and Sai hold back, because we're going to come back and have you share just one thing that you can encourage the rest before we go off.
Right, thank Josh Tan, Josh Lim, and Sai for sharing all these valuable lessons they have learned. And I think if you look at our training calendar for the coming week, this whole month of July, we are focusing on 3 shift tactics, which we believe is the most crucial tactic in the shift market. So come back again to listen to on Tuesday night. John Craig will continue to bring us through a lead generation shift tactic, and this time he will focus on the new way of lead generation, which is called education. Is the new lead generation. So you heard from Josh Tan just now, educating the seller and customer is a very crucial part during the shift market. Right? Then on Wednesday morning, William is going to bring us through tactic 1 again, but this time he will focus on different mindset. How can we have a preparation mindset to prepare to shift with the market together so that you can remain relevant? And a lot of time, it is our mindset that will determine our action. Right. And Thursday, Josh will come back again. Now he will go deeper into the art of price persuasion, right, in the shift tactic 7. So for our guests, if you are interested, please sign up so that you can continue to attend the sessions that we organize. Whereas for refill people, the link will send to you. Next slide, please. Now, last time we have a very informative session on how to handle stress and how to handle emotional stress during this pandemic season, and it was conducted in Mandarin. In fact, the take-home message, the key point of handling all this pressure, so-called pressure from the pandemic, is our mindset. Right? In fact, the consultant who bring us through different tactics of how to overcome this pressure during the pandemic. And this Friday night, we're going to have another session, and this time will be in Bahasa. Dr. Azmawadi will be bringing us through this session on how to handle stress during COVID season. So, especially for your Malay friends and colleagues, this session will be conducted in Malay. Do send this link to all your friends that you know they may need to understand some of these technique or the situations that we are facing now. So feel free to share this to your friend and ask them to join this session. Next slide, please. Now, in view of the EMCO situation and the pandemic situation, we have many of our colleagues in the real estate industry, especially in Klang Valley, are affected because of the business, the restriction of the movement in the business. So therefore, we are initiating this white flag relief fund to help some of our colleagues who are financially at the moment have difficulty in feeding their family, especially. So if you are really facing a challenge in your finances as a real estate agent, this one is only open to real estate agent in Klang Valley with the registered number, whereby you can send in your request to this QR code on the email and the link here. Now, all this information will be treated confidentially. Only people in the finance who release the fund will know who this person. Other than that, none of us know who are these people requested. Right? So if you really need some financial assistance during this period of time, feel free to scan this QR code and send through the link there, send in your requests. Next slide. And as of this time, as of today, we have received about 180 requests for fund assistance. And we have already paid out 14,000 to those 70 agents who requested help to help their family as well. And our target is to help 250 families possible. And we need the amount of 50,000 to do that. So therefore, we also appeal to those who are financially able to help to contribute to this fund by using the QR code there, as well as a bank transfer, label it a white flag to contribute the fund so that we can raise up to 50,000 to help these 250 family. And the closing date is by 18th of July. So if you know of any of your clients who even willing to participate in this relief fund, so feel free to use it as a touch point to communicate with your client, to educate your client that we are not only doing real estate, we are also helping each other in overcoming this pandemic situation together. Next slide. And as of today, you can see we will update the fund collection and how much short, so that it will be transparent. Everybody will know how much fund we have received. So as of 7 July, we have received 14,110 ringgit, and we should short of 35,890,000 in order to achieve the 50,000 mark to help the 250 family. So again, appeal to all of you who are able to support this fund. Feel free to contribute to this fund and as well to your client as well. Next slide. So we continue to have this touch point for you to communicate with your clients and with your friends. And especially want to highlight this last Monday that we had one session whereby our founder David Ong has shared through his personal experience how he navigated through the different storm. He has gone through all kinds of financial crisis, even personal crisis, how he overcome all this situation and thrive in all this situation. So use that as a touch point as well to encourage your friends, encourage your customer as well. Right? So continue to use it to keep in contact with your customer. Next slide. With that, thank you very much. Josh, you have any last?
Just go back in for site itself. Site, can you share just one last thought that will encourage the people here that they need to do to take action?
Shai had to on the video.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Maybe just one last thoughts to share that you want to leave with the audience today.
Shift lah. Adapt and shift. Itu yang I right now belajar during MCO lah kan. If you have nothing if kita tak boleh buat satu, find alternative so that we are still orang kata valid in the market lah. So that we still in progress. Sebab kita jangan buat kita instead of do nothing and hoping in the MCO soon will be lifted, which is I think memang lambat lagi akan lifted lah. Right now ada new problem semua tu. So we have to adapt and shift lah our strategy.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. Aside that, and what about you, George? What would you want to share with the audience?
Well, of course, we need to do research first before we go to meet the seller. This is the most important part lah. If you do not know anything about the area, you don't know the market price, you don't know what's happening in that market, then when you go and meet the owner, you buta lost the opportunity, right?
Okay, thanks for sharing that. And for myself, again, is learn to understand the window of opportunity for you to get both the buyers and owners if you price your property correctly. Okay, take action, work with your listings, get a property price correctly, and wish you all the best and close more deals. See you in the next training. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Finish!
You see